Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, I am Dr. Qamar Mehboob, working as Associate Professor in the Physiology Department of the Faisalabad Medical University. Today, we will study the cell and its function, and it's my first lecture for you about the cell. As we all know that the cell is the basic structure of the life, many cells combines to form one type of the tissue, and these tissues combine to form the organ. Different types of different organs, after combination with the other structure, they form a specific organ system, and in one body these systems work together in a single organism, and when many organisms combine, they form a group or the population of that specific type of the organism. The standard of the life increases, and ultimately these groups of the organism or the population form the community, then the ecosystem, biome, and the biosphere. In this way, the biological levels of the organization improves. The basic structure of the life, that is cell, has different organelles in it which are embedded in the water-like substance which is called the cytoplasm. The cell is bounded by the cell membrane, and in the cytoplasm different cell organelles they are present. The centralmost controlling center is called the nucleus, bounded by the nuclear membrane, and in that we have the nucleolus also. All the functions going in the cytoplasm, in the different organelles of the cytoplasm, they are controlled by this structure, that is the nucleus. As far as the composition of the cell is concerned, different types of chemicals including water, different ions, proteins, lipids and carbohydrates, they are present in the cytoplasm in different percentage. The most abundant is water, which constitutes almost 70 to 85% of the cell mass. Many cellular chemicals are dissolved in the water. Others are suspended in the water as solid particles. Then comes the different types of the ions. These ions may be potassium, magnesium, phosphate, sulfate, carbohydrate, or smaller quantities of the sodium, chloride and calcium. These ions, they are meant to provide inorganic chemicals for cellular reactions. On the other hand, they are also necessary for operation of some of the cellular control mechanisms. The next is the proteins. They constitute 10 to 20% of the cell composition, and they are mainly of two types, structural and also the functional. Structural proteins are present in the cell mainly in the form of long filaments, that are polymers of many individual protein molecules, while the functional proteins are an entirely different type of the protein, usually composed of combination of a few molecules in the tubular globular form. These proteins, they are mainly the enzymes of the cell, and in contrast to the fibrin proteins, they are often mobile in the cell fluid. The next thing is the lipids. There are several types of the substances that are grouped together because of their common property of being soluble in fat solvents. Especially important lipids, they are phospholipids and the cholesterol. In addition to phospholipids and cholesterol, some cells contain large quantities of triglycerides, also called neutral fat, while in the fat cells, triglycerides often account for as much as 95% of the cell mass. The fat stored in these cells represents the body's main storehouse of energy-giving nutrients. The next that are the carbohydrates. They have little structural function in the cell except as parts of the glycoprotein molecules. But they play a very major and important role in nutrition of the cell. Most human cells do not maintain large stores of the carbohydrates. The amount usually averages about 1% of the total mass up to the 6% to the maximum. So they are very less in quantity as compared to the other ingredients. As far as the cell organelles they are concerned, as we have discussed that in the center we have the nucleus bounded by the nuclear membrane, and we have around the nucleus the rough endoplasmic reticulum on which we have abundant ribosomes, because of which it is called the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Close to that we have the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and then another important structure, that is the Golgi apparatus, and different types of the vacuoles. They are also present. With that, we have mitochondria and other structures also. In the next lecture, we will discuss the details of all these structures. So, with this brief introduction to the cell and its organelles, we complete our first lecture, and in the next we will discuss one by one all these cell organelles, starting from the cell membrane and going towards the nucleus, and we will not only discuss the structure of these cell organelles but also their functions. So stay with us. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.